I want to talk about two creators really quick. My mutual Jory and Dylan Mulvaney, and you're going to see why in just a second. Dylan Mulvaney is a very successful trans woman on this app. Jory, no offense to Jory, is a semi-successful trans woman on this app. And the difference between them is one of them is white and rich, and the other is black and not. I don't know everything about Jory's financial status, but I'm telling you right now that she is not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Dylan Mulvaney has gotten on estrogen facial feminization surgery, met the president, bought a house, and was like on the face of beer cans for a little while there. And while she's faced a lot of transphobia, absolutely, because she's like massively known, she's also extremely successful. You don't just meet the president out of nowhere. Jory, through all of her transness and transitioning and everything she has done for people on this app, has not received really any of that at all. I would love to have the reach of Dylan Mulvaney. I really would. I would love to have that amount of money and be that successful. I would love to be rich, white, and skinny, okay? But I'm not, and neither is Jory. And so what really upsets me right now is the double standard that we hold for trans people in this community. Y'all never want to hear it, but you treat white trans people so much better than you ever do the black counterparts within this community. And this is nothing against Dylan specifically. I am very happy for her success, but it is hurtful to see people hype up one person and then drag the other through the dirt.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about Dylan Mulvaney, somebody we have not talked about for a long time on this channel for good reason, okay? Because essentially social media basically banned conservatives from being able to talk about Dylan, okay, without it being labeled as hateful, even though, again, nobody was really being hateful. But anyways, Dylan is facing a whole lot of backlash. But again, not from the right, but from the left, okay? Dylan has been embroiled in multiple controversies, and it seems as if Dylan is being canceled by the left. Now, there are multiple controversies that Dylan is involved with. The first controversy that I want to tell you guys about is Dylan's Days of Girlhood song, okay, that has gone viral for being what seems to be a ripoff of an early 2000s white girl anthem. And a lot of people are upset with this song because they say that it has misogynistic themes in the lyrics.
I'm gonna get some hate for this one, but Dylan Mulvaney's new song is no different than Joe Coy saying Barbie is a doll with big boobies. This has nothing to do with transphobia or whether or not Dylan is a woman or not. This video is purely about the lyrics of the Girlhood song. How it's the same exact misogyny that everyone was mad at for Joe Coy saying that Barbie was a doll with big boobies. The song chalks girlhood up to women being nothing more than lazy, prescription-popping, drunk, sex-crazed shopping addicts. And if you don't see that, you are blind, and you are leading the wrong fight. And no, I can't speak for all women, I can't speak for all girls about what their experience with womanhood and girlhood is, but I can tell you, for all of the women in my immediate circle, girlhood is what was I made for. Trying to lead the fight for feminism and empowering women, but you're upholding this person who is putting on a facade and generalizing women in the most misogynistic way.
Yeah, so you see now you heard that, okay? Yeah, I find it fascinating how Dylan is now getting backlash over this song that clearly shows that Dylan has a very generalized view of what it means to be a girl, okay? And in some ways, it can be offensive, right? I just find it to be fascinating how, again, just a few years ago, right, when people were saying, hey, you know, I think, you know, this person may have some viewpoints on, you know, what it means to be a girl that are very, like, stereotypical, okay, and generalized, right? But, hey, you know, it is what it is. The controversy I actually really want to talk about, though, is the cancellation from the left, because apparently, you guys remember, during Pride Month, you're not supposed to put your pride over what's going on between Israel and Gaza. And apparently this applies to Dylan Mulvaney as well, too, because Dylan, as a celebrity, is supposed to speak out on Israel and Palestine, what's happening over there. And obviously he's supposed to support Gaza, right? He's supposed to support the Palestinians because Dylan is supported by the left. Okay, he's a part of that coalition of people, right, that are all together due to intersectionality, even though there are a lot of things that really are not very common amongst, all these people who are sticking together. Okay. But the theory is that because Dylan is a part of the coalition of those with infinity stones of wokeness, Dylan is supposed to support Gaza and speak out about Palestine. Not just that foreign conflict, but also other foreign conflicts as well, too, that the woke revolutionaries feel that you must support if you're going to be on the left.
Everyone is finally canceling Dylan Mulvaney. Fucking finally. I have been trying to tell you guys about this person for the longest time, but whenever I say it, I get labeled as a certain word that I can't say on this app. Everyone is calling Dylan Mulvaney a massive hypocrite now that I know. People are finding it very suspicious that this woman right here has grown her entire account based off of promoting women's rights, saying the significance of women, how important women are for her, and of course, recognizing the struggles that women have to go through on a day-to-day basis. She's actually won, I swear, Woman of the Year for this. However, when it comes to speaking about the women in Palestine who are having to use tent scraps because their periods are coming, or the women in Congo who are aggressively and systematically getting raped, she's quiet. She's silent. It's crickets even. People are recognizing that it's women that got this woman to this place to begin with. But however, when it comes to addressing issues that affect women within the diaspora, she's conveniently quiet. Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney has now come under fire by a lot of her fans over the last few days for her reluctance, I guess, to speak on the watermelon place. Her comments have been flooded with people begging her to speak on this, with people asking, much like it has been for any larger creator, larger celebrity. And a lot of people are saying that because she is a part of a marginalized group, this issue should speak more clearly to her, and she should want to advocate for it. And on that first point, I'm very curious to know what you think. But I also think that she's adding to the trend of creators, specifically influencer celebrities, that explode and they grow because people follow them. They make money because people follow them. And then they lose touch. That becomes so consistent that they lose touch with the idea that it is literal human beings sitting behind their phones, liking, sharing, commenting on their posts, and taking action to support and elevate this person's narrative and they're not connected to those people anymore. Because if everybody stopped interacting with people's videos, nobody would be making any money off of them. And it gets really disheartening to fall in love with a person, right? Like you fall in love with a person and their journey and you follow them and you're following them through this journey and everybody begins as a normal person, and then all of a sudden they are hanging out with Lady Gaga and Paris Hilton's mom and sitting down with the president of the United States. And then eventually what happens is they're not answering any of your comments anymore and they're not listening to what fans want. And I think this is a very common feeling for people. We as fans create the stardom, we create the wealth, we create the economy, and benefit from it not at all.
This video is for Dylan Mulvaney. If you're not Dylan, feel free to stick around. I've never really had faith in celebrities speaking on important things, especially when it comes to oppressed groups of people and us common folks. But I had faith in you. And I'm talking a lot of faith. You've gotten to where you are in your life and your career because of millions of people like me. Now, I can only speak for myself, but Dylan, I stood 10 toes to the ground for you. Not because you're trans, and not because we're part of the same community, but because you are a human. For the last 2 years, I've tried educating people on normalizing differences, because you as a human deserve to live your life as the person you are. The person you are. Apparently, none of us knew who that person was. Your silence and refusal to speak on what's happening has truly been heartbreaking. Multiple times a day, I go to your account hoping that you just talk and speak on this because you know the type of influence that you have. And nobody can say that you don't do political things because you as a trans woman sat down and spoke with the President of the United States. When, to be quite honest, there were way more qualified trans people out there to do that, but because of your influence, you were chosen. Millions of people spoke up and defended you, and like I said in the beginning, we are a major reason as to why you are where you are now. And now, it's like we're nobodies. You don't even have the decency to reply to people. You have been such a role model for the queer youth around the world. And now you are quite literally turning your back on those people. Get it, you have managers and you have people telling you what you should or should not be doing. But I'm here to let you know money should never change your ethics. I'm just assuming that your ethics are the same as mine, because why would you only stick up for one oppressed group of people? Dylan, people are dying by the tens of thousands. How could you not care about that? Being surrounded by the elite's more important to you than people losing their lives? I was looking through your comments, and every single comment is people asking you to please say something, at least repost a video, and you say nothing, but then turn around and post a picture with Paris Hilton's mom? Is a smack in the face to the people who love and supported you, myself included. Now call it a parasocial relationship, whatever you want, but I considered you a friend. I am beyond disappointed in you. I have no issues blocking celebrities. I was really holding on to the fact that I thought you were still a normal person. This is about humanity, Dylan, and that is something that I thought you had a lot of. You were the one person that I had faith in, and your silence speaks volumes.
Wow. The victimhood wars of 2024. I did not have this on my bingo card. Dylan Mulvaney's fans turning against Dylan because Dylan is not woken up. Because according to them, Dylan has to speak out on every conflict that is happening overseas, even if Dylan doesn't know a damn thing about it. And this leads me to probably the only and probably last video I ever make, actually defending Dylan Mulvaney, okay? I'm about to defend Dylan, okay? Because I think this is something that we see quite a bit, right, in politics, especially when it comes to the left. They demand that you speak out on things. If you are somebody with a major platform or a celebrity or influencer, if you're on the left, okay, if they consider you to be on their side, they demand that you speak out on these conflicts that are extremely complex, and again, they're taking place overseas, okay? Conflicts that, in my opinion, probably a lot of people are not very educated on, right? Like, again, the Israel-Palestine conflict, which is extremely complicated. Whatever's going on in the Congo, I have no clue what the hell is going on in Congo, right? And I can imagine Dylan Mulvaney probably has no clue what is going on in the Congo or whatever conflict these people want Dylan to speak out on. So how can Dylan speak on something that Dylan doesn't know about? Again, no offense to Dylan, but I don't think Dylan comes off as the most politically informed person, okay? I think Dylan is the type of person that just wants to be a celebrity, and that's it, okay? I don't think that Dylan really wants to get heavily involved in politics. So if Dylan, or any influencer really, okay, not just Dylan, but if any influencer doesn't really know much about the conflict, then why do they need to speak on something that they don't know? Okay, that's the problem with a lot of these conflicts overseas, is that a lot of people are speaking on it. They're commenting on it, even if they don't really know that much about it. They're just by default supporting a side, even though they haven't thoroughly did their research to really understand exactly what's going on. And that's one of the reasons why, I really don't like talking about the Israel-Gaza conflict, because it's so complicated that I'm not sure how anybody can be 100% pro either side, right? There's really nothing about that conflict that's black and white, okay? It is very, very, very gray. And again, that's part of the reason why, hey, I just think, generally speaking, if people are uncomfortable speaking on it or taking a side, what's wrong with that, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with that whatsoever. I don't think people should be forced to speak out on something that they don't know about just because the woke activists say that, hey, you must speak out on this. Because let's say Dylan comes out and says, I support Israel. You people, right, the same people that are criticizing Dylan for not speaking out probably would say, hey, well, if you're going to support Israel, then you probably shouldn't have spoke out at all, right? We all know what they mean by you have to speak out. What they mean is that you have to support Palestine, right? If you don't support Palestine, then you're Islamophobic, right? And you're supporting a genocide. This is what they'll say. This is exactly what they'll say. So again, why speak out at all? If Dylan comes out here and he says, hey, I support Palestine, then they'll accuse you of wanting to wipe Israel off the planet, right? This is what they'll say. They'll say that you're anti-Semitic. So it's almost like damn if you do, damn if you don't. I think one thing I can say about Dylan is that Dylan is learning a lesson that a lot of these other celebrities probably should learn, is that, hey, if you don't really know much about something, it's better just not to say anything about it at all, okay? Because once you get in that spotlight, you can't get out of it, and you're going to have to continue to defend your views, and that's just not a good situation to really be in. It's just really not. So, I don't think that it's necessary for anybody to have to speak out on any conflict that they're not comfortable speaking out on. Also, on top of that, I just find it to be hilarious how these people think that, well, if you're a part of the victimhood coalition, right, then you have to agree with us 100%, right? You have to be on board with us 100%, or else you're on the other side, right? You're on the other team. And it's almost like, well, is there any room to disagree with the left, right, at all? I don't think so. I really don't. Okay, but hey, regardless, Dylan Mulvaney seems to be getting canceled by Dylan's fans. They are criticizing Dylan for not being woke enough, and Dylan's stardom seems to be fading. Okay, Dylan seems to be kind of just, not as active and as popular as Dylan was just a few years ago. And I think, again, part of that is because conservatives stopped talking about Dylan, which I think is overall a good thing. But also what you're saying here is that the left, they're kind of getting to the point where they're like, all right, you know what? If you're not going to be political, right? If you're not going to stand up for our causes, if you're not going to be our political pawn, then we don't have any use for you, right? And we're also upset that you don't care about us anymore, right? You're not responding to us, okay? You're not engaging with us like you used to. It's almost as if you just wanted to be a celebrity and you didn't really give a damn about us, right? I'm just saying. Watching the left eat themselves, okay, especially, again, over who's the biggest victim, right? Which issues deserve more attention, trans issues or LGBTQ issues versus, the Gaza issue and, the racism issue and women's issues. It's very hilarious, right? It really is fascinating to observe these individuals infight over who's the biggest victim. And I think that this story is kind of one of these stories where it's like, well, as a conservative, I'm just going to be a third-party observer, right? This is not my fight, right? This is not something for me to chime in on, although I do think that nobody's obligated to speak on a conflict that they really don't know anything about. But outside of that, hey, you can call each other transphobic, right? You can call each other racist. You can call each other bigots all you want. I'm just going to observe and laugh. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.